Russell T Davies,
Stephen Moffat.
Chris Chibnall.
Us?
In this video, we will explain what we would do as showrunners.
So what would happen if we were in charge of Doctor Who?
Well, the first change would be structure.
There have been many episode structures throughout New Who, including the Russell T Davies format. It had 10 stories, 13 episodes and 3 two-parters.
The Series 6 format, which had 10 stories, 13 episodes, 3 two-parters, but the series was split in half.
The Series 7 format, which had 13 stories, 13 episodes, no two-parters, and the series was also split in half.
The Series 8 format, which had 11 stories, 12 episodes, and only 1 two-parter.
The Series 9 blockbuster format, which had 7 stories, 12 episodes, and 5 two-parters.
The Series 10 format, which had 9 stories, 12 episodes, 1 two-parter, and 1 three-parter.
And the Series 11 format, which had 10 stories, 10 episodes, which were all an hour long, but they had no two-parters.
A lot of people believe the first formula to be the best, and we agree, so our structure would be 9 stories, 12 45-minute episodes, and 3 two-parters. Stories 4, 7, and 9 would be continued.
There would be an equal mix of past, present, and future stories, and another thing, monsters!
We've had our fair share of new and old monsters in this incarnation of Who.
Series 11 is the only series in New Who that gives us no returning monsters, but it does give us 10 new foes.
But it's pretty nice to see a new Doctor interact with older enemies, as we saw in Resolution.
So we would have 6 completely new monsters and 3 returning monsters, much like Series 5.
But it is worth noting that returning monsters won't just include classics like the Daleks. Our version of Who could see more obscure monsters like the Reapers return.
Rebel Whovian recently made a video of monsters he would like to return to Doctor Who, and we think he's totally right.
Vibe.
The Russell T Davies era saw a much more grounded and modern take to Doctor Who, but with some silly and downright terrifying episodes. His Who was widely known as a family show.
Stephen Moffat's era was a bit more like a fairy tale, and it was fueled by linking back to previous adventures. Series 8 of Moffat's era definitely took a darker turn and steered further away from the family show vibe.
Russell T Davies was very Earth-based,
and Stephen Moffat's, especially in later seasons, was a lot more space-based.
The vibe would be very similar to Series 10, but with more time to meet the companion's family. Like the Russell T Davies era.
So our series would perhaps be most like Series 3, with a touch of that fairy tale story arc from Series 5.
Speaking of story arcs, they are totally coming back.
There was Bad Wolf,
Torchwood,
Oak Saxon,
The Vanishing Planets,
He Will Knock 4 Times,
The Crack in Amy's Wall,
The Doctor's Death,
The Impossible Girl,
Trenzalore,
Missy,
The Confession Dial,
The Vault.
and Series 11 didn't really have one.
There's been a lot and we really enjoyed solving them, or at least trying to.
So yeah, they would totally be coming back.
Maybe it's about something the Doctor keeps finding, and it's counting down, similar to the Infinite Quest.
So, how would we hype this up?
Russell T Davies relied on Doctor Who's big return.
Stephen Moffat relied on promotional images, trailers, and the occasional video game. And don't get me started on 2010's website!
Christopher.
Okay, sorry. Back to the video.
Chris Chibnall mostly relied on the reveal of a female Doctor.
So, in our version of Who, you could expect
Trailers.
promotional art and have promotional images for every episode like Series 7 had.
Video games, such as the adventure games.
The return of Doctor Who Confidential, but perhaps on YouTube instead of TV.
And we would love to bring back a TV show on CBBC like Totally Doctor Who. That was a great show.
Spin-offs would also be a bigger part of our era, as there were some lost opportunities with Jenny, the Doctor's daughter, and the Paternoster gang.
The Doctor.
After Jodie, our character additions would be open to both male and female, so it wouldn't be based on gender.
Perhaps a more gothic Doctor would be part of our cast, but they wouldn't be a dark, depressed Doctor, but more of a teenager who lacks a little immaturity.
We recently designed a Doctor with a randomizer and ended up with
This guy! So maybe our Doctor would look similar to this.
Companion.
Up until Series 11, it was one or two companions on the TARDIS.
And sorry Series 11, but that's what we'd be going back to, because introducing 3 new companions and a new Doctor is very hard to do well.
We'd rather take the time developing one character and one Doctor, like Rose in 9 or Amy in 11, and then adding supporting characters later on.
The big difference is, we would aim to have a companion from the past. Perhaps a character from the past who has accidentally slipped into 2019.
Merchandise!
Finally, our merchandise would include
Action figures and toys,
games,
clothing,
mugs,
bedding,
yeah, pretty much everything we can think of.
and we're not even sorry.
So that's how we would run Doctor Who, but what about you? Let us know in the comments below what you would do with Doctor Who. I've been Christopher.
And I've been Lewis.
And you've been
Brilliant!